As a producer, you are usually the first one on a film project and the last one to be done with it. Because you will be the one that finds funding, it's also your job to make sure that investors get paid back, or at least that the film gets made. So even after the film is completed and the director and the rest of the team have moved on, you as producer will still be trying to get the film seen by audiences. As part of that, you'll probably be trying to make back some money from it as well. Be aware that a lot of marketing channels, even for short films, cost money. So you want to make sure and reserve a chunk of the budget for marketing once the film is complete. Film festival submissions start at about $35 from what I've seen and can add up very quickly. So take that into account while you're creating your budget. Even if your short doesn't make money, putting it in front of an audience will allow you to get an honest reaction to your film so you could see what maybe you could do better next time. There's also nothing better than listening to a packed theater of strangers watch your film and just erupt in laughter at some little joke that you didn't think anyone else would notice. Now, how do you market your film? YouTube itself is actually a great place to start. If you allow ads on your video, you earn money every time someone watches your film. This can really add up over time. If you create enough videos that people watch, you can create a nice little following. And that will not only create revenue from your films for you, but it can also create an audience for future projects. I mean, if you could show a potential investor that you already have a built-in fan base for your work, they're much more likely to contribute something, like money, for example, to your project. Another relatively new distribution option for short films is indie flicks. We'll look more at indie flicks in our training series on marketing and distribution, but in a nutshell, indie flicks is a streaming video service, kind of like Netflix, but meant for lovers of independent film, including indie short films. If IndieFlix approves your film and puts it in their library, they will pay you royalties when people watch your film. Another aspect of IndieFlix that I really like is that it's a great place to see what other indie filmmakers are making. It's like seeing the work of your peers, which you really don't get to see very often outside of film festivals. And speaking of film festivals, this is the default avenue for getting the word out about your film. There are film festivals all over the world, and for a fee, which usually starts or kind of averages about $35 from what I've seen, like the lower budget film festivals. For that little fee, you could submit your film to play at that festival. This can be a little discouraging though. Films that are chosen to be in film festivals, they're chosen for a host of reasons. And unfortunately, it doesn't always have to do with the quality of the film. If the person putting on the film festival has a nephew that just made his first film, even though it's absolutely atrocious by all standards, well, guess what? That film is in Uncle's Film Festival. That's just the way it works. Also, short films are chosen to fill certain slots sometimes. So they might be looking for a short film that's exactly 8 minutes long, or they might really not want to show horror films this year. So even though you've made the next Let the Right One In or something, but because it's kind of related to horror, your film won't make the cut. So it can be discouraging. But just kind of like actors auditioning for roles, you have to not take it personally. It doesn't mean that your film wasn't amazing. It just means that it wasn't exactly what they were looking for. For the assurance, this is actually one of our biggest challenges. Fantasy films just are not popular in the Seattle Film Festival scene. We'll see in that training series on marketing just how well our film fared in this world, but my hypothesis at this point, before doing that, is that the assurance will find its biggest audience outside of my hometown, which is kind of a bummer a little bit, but we'll see. Now, the avenues I've mentioned, YouTube, IndieFlix, film festivals, these are just a few of the options that I've used and also my top thoughts for marketing the assurance. But there are certainly more than this. I mean, you could put together a compilation of your short films or short films of peers that you have and sell it on a DVD on Amazon. And speaking of Amazon, you could sell or rent your short on demand on Amazon Instant Video. People watch movies in more ways than ever before, and new options are popping up all the time. It's very possible that there are several new avenues that have opened up since I've recorded this training that might be a better venue for your short. Whatever path or paths you choose, make sure you get your film out there. You owe it to your cast and crew at the very least.